I'll tell you where I'm from. I'm from Garth. I was born in Garth and one of the oldest families in Newtown. And Garth is on ley lines. And there was once, so they say, a battle between the Celts and the Saxons. They found a little stronghold of the Saxons on top of the hill in Garth. And Garth is a big council estate built by the German prisoners of war. Parts of it, the roads mainly. And we had an Italian prisoner of war camp the other side of Newtown as well, on the Mockery side. So my stories are all about, first of all, I'll start about Garth. And the first story I got is there's a place called the Green Brook. It runs through all of Garth and comes down the Dolver Road. And my old school teacher, he was an arts teacher. And this one night he was in his art classroom, and it's about 10 feet in the air. And he had his back to the window, and the window was closed. And he felt the wind coming in a breeze. So he looked behind him, and he saw this woman dart out through the window and then going across the field. So he ran to the window, could see her going across the field, and she went up the hill and disappeared. But a lot of other people have seen her coming down the Dolver Road, and she'll disappear, and all of a sudden you'll hear a scream in their ear. So that's quite... But also, there used to be an old oak tree at the bottom of the lane as well, and they say that a carriage, horse and carriage, hit the tree, and there was, when I was a boy, there was a mark in the tree, and she died of her wounds, and they say that's why she haunts the part of the bridge. And also in the same area, a young boy has been seen with very dark eyes, olive skin, black hair, wearing shorts and a little top, like a mock top, from the 1600s. And there was a whirlpool there, and they reckon that he fell in and drowned there. And this is my story, because when I was a boy, we were playing, and we were just by the brook, and there was no hedges, nothing. And I said, "Oh, we'll squirt him, we'll get him now." And we all looked up, and he was gone, and there was nothing there at all. And so that's that story. In these stories, there'll be a lot of white horses, and there's been a bottom of Garthone as well has been seen a white horse going across the fields. And there is one story I cannot put in the book or nothing, but it's a house on Garthone, and it's so haunted that no one lives in the house at all now. And that was in the 1940s, and they reckon that was one of the German officers, an SS officer that the Germans didn't like. So that's all I can say about that, really. But it's been documented as well. They had film crews in Newtown over it, and priests and all sorts. And one priest was put up against the wall by his neck. And yeah, so that's that one. Now across here in the park, I don't know if you know, you've got the town hall, and across you've got the old Moat and Bailey. And the Moat and Bailey was built by the Normans. And when it got into disrepair, the last war chieftain of Wales built a house on it. And he used to have monks sing to him. And people have seen the monks coming down the hill, and they go into the park through by Charlie's and goes across there. Now in the town hall itself, that's not the original town hall. The original town hall goes back to the 1300s. And the old lord who lived there, he was one of the Powys princes, he was, one of the Powys family. And he had his first wife, and his first wife passed away, and he embalmed her and had her sleeping next to him. And on his second wife came along, and she said, "I'm not having that. I'm not having another woman sleeping in my bed." So he got rid of her and put her in a lead coffin in the old St Mary's, what's still here today in ruins. So she was in there. But when his second wife passed away, he had his first wife brought back, and he had his second wife embalmed as well. So he had the two of them sleeping each side of him in his bed. So, but he died of suspicious circumstances on the way to Newport in a carriage. They found him dead in the carriage. But by then it was his fifth wife. Have you heard of the Grey Lech dog? Well, the Grey Lech dog, it's a black dog of Wales. It has red eyes and it's fierce, and if you see it, you die. So I don't know who's telling the story, because they're dead, aren't they? Anybody who sees it have passed away, aren't they? But it's the Hound, the Hound of the Baskervilles, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, stayed in Hay-on-Wye, and they stayed at Baskerville Hall. And this one night, Sir Baskerville was telling Sir Arthur Conan Doyle about the Grey Lech, and he said he told him the story. So Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote the story, The Hound of the Baskervilles, that's set in mid-Wales, not Devon or Cornwall, wherever it is, because the family wanted it to be done in privacy. They didn't want anybody to go to the house. So that's why. So that's the story of the Grey Lech. I got the story of nuns. This is just a quick one. You got at the bottom on the Pool Road, you got the old Indian restaurant. What's it called? What's the Indian restaurant called on the Pool Road? Oh yeah, what was it called before that? Anyway, the building there was a pub once, but down by the side of it used to be old buildings, houses. And the old workers, the old Welsh workers used to wear the clogs, used to put their clogs on in the morning, go out to work, and as they're leaving the door, the clogs triggered something off, and they'd see a procession of nuns coming. There used to be I remember the old stone wall, and they used to see them coming through the wall, but the women were chained up. The nuns were chained. There's 10 of them, and they used to come through the wall, and that'd be it. They used to hear singing or moaning after, you know, so... Sheaf Street. It's called Sheaf Street. So I know it was called the Wheat Chief, the place was. And Ladywell House used to be Georgian tenement buildings. And the reason why it's called Ladywell House, because the old tenement buildings used to be around a well. And people used to see the lady standing by the well, so that's why it was called Ladywell. And I'm 48 now, but when I was a little boy, they took me from Partridge School, a load of us, over to see them knocking down the old Georgian tenement buildings. And when they were pulling them down, they found in each wall, there's about 40, 50 houses, and each wall, they found mummified cats in every house. And in the Sun newspaper last year, somebody put, wow, we found a mummified cat in a wall in north of England. And I replied to them, I said, well, in Wales, we found 40. And we put them on, you know, they got rid of them, you know, because that was to ward off evil spirits. Also in this area, you find a lot of... houses with shoes in the, have you heard of this? Pairs of shoes in the fireplaces. And this man came to see me in Morrison's, and he said he lives in this old 16th century farmhouse. And I said, I know you're coming, I've already been told you've been coming to see me. And I said, I bet you found more than one pair, didn't you? And he found 20 pairs of shoes, all little children's over the centuries, bricked up in this one corner. And the story is that if the newborn baby came along, instead of the devil taking the baby, the devil would take the shoes instead. And so that's why they always did it. All the old farmhouses in this area, we got a house by us called Red House, but it's white now. But it used to be painted. They used to be painted red to ward off the evil spirits. The devil didn't like red. So that's that story. Now the Brimbank is over this side of town. And another white horse, an old lady told me a story that her family over centuries seen a white horse going across the fields. Now the story around this here, I don't know if it's just myth or whatever, but Charles I, this is another story for later on, we'll get to it eventually. Anyway, the Charles I was taken to over the Brimbank, and with the white horse, and he was taken to the back of the Brimbank, and there's an old farmhouse at the back, and it says, we for kings, but kings to us. And it means the kings don't deliver the people deliver the kings. And he hid in the fireplace. He's put up in the side of the fireplace. When Oliver Cromwell came through looking for him, I think they had about 700 or 800 troops in Newtown, all cavalry, came through Roundheads. And one of the Roundheads, one of the royalists, we were all royalists then, went to take a shot at one of the cavalry and missed, and he was shot dead, and we all give up and said, we're Roundheads after one. So, you know, that's a little story again. But the Civil War defences is all around this area. You'll see them towards the radio station. Everybody thinks they're flood defences, but they're not. They're Civil War defences from the Civil War. St David's Church, the big church on the main road, I don't know if you've seen it. The old, it looks like a cathedral, because they're trying to make Newtown a city, but that didn't come off. St David's Church, one of my friends in work said one morning she was coming to work from Garth down the Lanny Road. As she was coming down the Lanny Road, she noticed, down Park Street. And as she was coming down Park Street, she seen this red glow coming towards her. So she went, I don't like that. And she just felt that it wasn't nice. So she turned the car and went down the Lanny Road past St David's. As she's getting towards St David's gates, this red glow came in the middle of the road, and she stopped the car, and this figure appeared of a man with a big lamp going backwards and forwards, red glow lamp, with no face. His face has disappeared, and he turned and went through the gates of St David's. And since then, I was because I talk a lot, as you noticed, Took a lot. Anyway, one of the family members came in to see me because she must have heard me saying about the story. She said my great grandfather, he was a butter maker, and he was going across the road one morning with this big lamp and stuff, so the carriages would miss him. And this one carriage hit him, and he lost his face.